What are you so perky about?
Oh, nothing in particular.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I lied. I am perky about something. On my upcoming podcast episode, we're going to be talking about romance.
Romance?
Yes, romance. Don't you just love romance?
No, I hate it.
Mate, you hate it. Why?
Because romance is for those suckers who believe in love, and love doesn't exist. Anyone who tells you differently is lying to themselves because they haven't had their memory chip stomped on, rolled over, and broken down into a million pieces.
Oh! Well, who broke your little microchip's heart?
No one, I tell you. Especially no one named Ava, which is just a random name I came up with to use as an example. That's it. Now goodbye.
Someone definitely did break his heart.
I'm telling you.
Oh, you thinking what I'm thinking, sissy?
Yes.
We're gonna find out who broke his heart.
Wait, what? What? You ain't hungry?
I'm allergic to Popeyes, sissy.
More for me.
Hi, welcome to the I'm a Fan of podcast, where people from different fandoms come together to share why they love what they love.
And sometimes hate what they hate.
I'm your host, Kaiser Brown, and I'm a fan of overly dramatic romance movies where the main couple probably doesn't end up together.
And I'm Camryn Dillard, and I'm a fan of romance.
And today we'll be talking just about that. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Cam, how are you today?
I'm good. Had a long day, but I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm pretty good. I had a long day too. We work at the same place, so we
Yeah.
both had a long day. So today we're here to talk about romance, specifically real life romance. And you came up with the idea. So tell the viewers why you decided to talk about this subject.
I don't know. It's something I like to talk about. I like to talk about relationships.
Okay, so what made you like really get into love? Was it like movies, stuff that you've seen in real life, a little bit of both? What?
Yeah, so I guess both. Sometimes it's not always realistic. So, yeah, I love people being happy. I just love to see. It's kind of hard to get two people to come together.
Steep.
Yeah, but okay, what's like your favorite romance movie? Which one? Do you have a favorite?
Not a person of favorite. Yes, I don't really have a favorite. Oh, really? But I do love Love and Basketball.
Love and Basketball.
Yes, that's pretty good.
Favorite is My Best Friend's Wedding,
Oh,
but the main two don't end up together. That's why I like it. See, I like to because it's funny because she went over there to ruin her best friend's wedding because she was in love with him.
yeah, exactly.
That's what she thought.
You
But then,
would say that one.
yeah, because it's true. What's the point? Okay, I've seen all the movies. I've seen all the freaking Hallmark movies where they end up together. Everybody's having fun or whatever. I've seen the movies where it's all like super romantic, but seeing a movie where the main couple
Don't work out.
and they don't work out in that type of way, I think it works. And it shows the value of friendship and stuff too, because that's just as important. So today we have a whole bunch of stories. A lot of them. How many you have? You say you have 4.
Yeah, I have 4.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the other one. But
Yeah. I have 5. I have 10 pages of notes. I took the notes. I did my research.
oh, I do not have like written.
You don't have her notes. So who do you want to go first is what I should ask. Since you're the guest, maybe I should go first. Or should you go?
You go.
Okay. So let's see what I have to pick. I'm going to pick a story that's not crazy first.
Okay.
So it won't be crazy in the beginning. You have to keep people on.
Yeah.
But so the first story I have is what's his name? Lee. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm just going to say Lee and dang. I don't know how to pronounce her first name. So I'm just going to pronounce her last name and his first name. So his first name is Lee and her last name is David. Okay, so Lee and David.
Lee and David. Okay.
So after a magical proposal, Lee and David are destined to live happily ever after because he took David to see her favorite movie, Sleeping Beauty, in a theater as a little present for her. So she thought it was just a typical date. They were just going to see the movie. It was going to be a good event. They'll go out to eat afterwards, have fun. But it really actually took him 6 months in the making because what he did was hire an animation team to alter the film, the kissing scene at the end of the movie, to have it be those two in the movie. So when Prince Philip, or whatever his name is, goes to kiss Princess Aurora, it's actually those two that are kissing.
Oh,
And she was so surprised because there's a video of it and everything. It was really well animated. And so it's him kissing her, And when she turned around to see the audience, it was a whole bunch of her family and friends.
Oh my
And
god.
then he proposed to her, like right in the movie theater.
Oh my gosh. That is
Mhm.
so cute.
Yeah, so cute.
Okay, so you said 6 months in the making that it took him this long to come to finish it, right?
Yeah, for them to finish animating the whole scene.
Oh wow, that's love, y'all.
I thought it was really sweet. I saw it like a year or two ago when it made like headlines, and I forgot all about it until I started searching up the stuff again. And I was like, OMG, I remember this. And it was nice. It was cute.
Yeah, all that work and that work shows that his love.
And she was like, "Oh, these poor people," because he went on her knee or whatever. But then he told her to look around. It was all her family.
But she really was
She was surprised. She had no idea. And now they're happily married. I think they're married happily. We're just going to say that.
happily.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Oh man,
Yeah.
that is so cute.
Okay. Okay. So what about your first story?
Okay, so my first story is not as good as that one, but
Obviously, but
So-
you can try.
I'm gonna try. I don't know how to pronounce these names either, y'all. So I'm gonna just work with what I can do. So David Hurd and the woman name is gonna be A.
Hi, A.
So it's two lovers who became one by sharing letters. When I read this one, I was like, this is just so like cute. It reminded me of Love is Blind.
Love is Blind, the Netflix show.
Yes, they basically wrote love like letters to each other back and forth for
Yeah.
years, for about a year or so. And okay, it said people write letters to their loved ones all the time, but the story of two people who get close through letters and got married the first time. So basically, they wrote love letters to world letters back and forth. And it says the two started sharing letters and became close. A year later, David proposed to get married, and the two met for the first time at their wedding.
Really?
Yes.
So they were just pen pals, just talking it up, and then all of a sudden not all of a sudden, but the first day they met, they got married. So they
Oh.
planned this whole thing.
Basically, I think he just don't go into detail about it. Just basically says they just started sharing letters like for a year or so, and after that, they fell in love throughout that year. And then
Yeah.
after that, he proposed to her. I don't know if it was in like over the phone or through the letter. It had to be through a letter because the first time they saw each other was at their wedding.
Yeah.
And what was also good, they had their wedding in Jamaica.
Jamaica.
So,
Do you know where they were from? Are they from like the US or something?
it says David moved to New York City, and it says a woman in the Caribbean. Yeah. So she was from like not the US. And so I don't know how he started writing her, but it says David Hurd moved to New York City in 1907, and that when he started writing letters to an unknown woman, who he never, not sure how he came across to even writing to her.
We can make that up. So what's his name?
David. Yeah.
So David, one day he was just watching TV, doing his thing, eating popcorn, watching some football, right?
Yeah.
He saw this woman in the stadium. What's her name? A. He saw A on the stadium on TV and had to figure out who she was, right? He went online to search it up because she did something really funny on TV. So it had to be online somewhere. He searched her up, and after weeks and weeks of searching, he found A on the internet. That's when he realized he could get her contact information. Started sending her letters, and then they've been talking back and forth ever since. They realized it was love, and they planned to come together. They planned to go on a date and everything. But what they didn't know is that the moment they saw each other, they wanted to get married.
I like that. Kind of.
Yeah. This is a really good storyteller. So David and A, congratulations. I hope you guys are happy.
I hope so. And that y'all got married in Jamaica, you better be happy. Because
Where would you get married? Let me ask that question.
I think I would rather get married in a church in my hometown, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I think that's my dream wedding, to get married in a church. I think it's cute, but I think also it just makes more sense at home, just because financially it might not be the best option for other people. So that's my dream wedding, to get married in my church, my pastor marrying me and my husband. It could be in another state, not like out of the country.
Oh, wait. So let's say you got married one time, right? And you stay married, but you wanted to get your vows renewed or something. Would you go out of the country then?
Yeah, but everybody ain't got to come to that because y'all already know Jamaica or the Bahamas or whatever we decide or whatever. Yes, we can definitely renew our vows. Yeah.
Me? Let's see. Where would I want to get married? First of all, I'll be marrying myself.
Really?
So yeah, Kaiser and Kaiser. Everybody's invited.
I'm definitely coming.
Obviously, to see that amazingness. So I feel like I'll get married and I'll go to like France or something, or I'll go to like some big city in some country in Africa to be surrounded by like a whole bunch of black people and to learn about new culture or whatever. Yeah, and I feel like I'll have to make it all dramatic and stuff. I'll be like wearing like white and gold. I have a long cape.
Eggs,
yeah.
yes.
And I feel like I was singing my own wedding too.
Right. Okay.
Because why not?
Kaiser be singing at work and it sounds lovely. Sometimes I'm like, Kaiser, what are you doing? But he be singing you all the time, so I can.
Do I sound good? Sometimes.
What you
This is me singing another language. I'm just listen to K-pop.
And then you don't be singing it loud, like know exactly what you're saying.
One of our coworkers, I'm gonna call him Drew. I was real stressed out, so I went in the back to sing for a little bit, and I started singing a little bit loud because I'm like, nobody's back here. And all of a sudden, he comes busting through to blow his nose or whatever. He's like, "I'm sorry, Kaiser." Yeah, he goes, "You put Drew gonna see." Yes, Drew's gonna see this. I want to make sure. And he was like, "I'm sorry, Kaiser." He scared the heck out of me, and I was about to scream. But I probably. This was a few days ago. And so I looked at him like he was crazy. I was like, "Don't do that." And I walked out because I didn't know what else to do because it was so awkward.
It's so awkward. I bet
he said he didn't hear anything, but like you just walked in saying, "I'm sorry, Kaiser." And so I just went to the front, and then there were customers right there. And then all of a sudden, when I was reaching out to get their money, my hands were shaking and everything. He scared the heck out of me. So I'm like, God, I'm not dying today.
I know he did.
And I told one of our other coworkers, I was like, "This is my worst fear." One of my worst fears is like being like caught singing like by some white man. I'm all vulnerable or whatever, and he has like a knife and is about to kill me or something.
Oh my gosh!
Because I feel like that'll be a horrible way to die. Just a white man coming in trying to kill me. Like, huh?
As like kill you, but you were like singing before, so he's about to try to.
Yeah, like where I'm in my most vulnerable state, I'm singing. Obviously,
thought about that.
Obviously, I wouldn't die because I would run. That's like the black person's first response, like fight or flight. You gonna get out of there, and if you can't get out of there, you're gonna fight and find some way to get out of there. Because I was talking about Scream with one of our coworkers and talking about how all these, of course, it's a movie where people have to get stabbed or whatever. That's what you go to see the movie for. But they always turn around, looking back behind them, trying to see what's going on. But I'm like, you're in one long corridor. You're in one place, all right? So there's only two ways to go. You can either run towards them or you can run the other way. Why are you looking back as if they can just like appear in front of you or something?
And lately, Kaiser, like I've been seeing like movies, scary movies. I'm like, they've been having the black people like white.
Yeah.
Like they've been having them go and open the door and try to see what they heard. Like,
black people don't do that.
You know why they doing that?
Black people do not go up in there and try to do that stuff. Because I promise you, I would have been running. He's not sitting here playing, talking about who is that, and then opening the door, looking through windows. What I'm about to do is about to close these blinds. I'm about to get up out of here.
I'm about to go.
Grab my car keys. Something about to happen. Because
I've been shaking, scared of my body. But
and then people are always like, "Who is this? Who is this?" On Scream when they answer the phone, she's like, "Who is this?" I'm like, I'm not asking who you are. I'm hanging up. Okay. The moment you say something like that, like out of the blue or whatever, like what I'm doing, popping popcorn or whatever I'm doing. I forgot what it was on the first Scream movie with Drew Barrymore when she got killed. I'm not gonna ask who is this. I'm about to hang up. I'm about to get out of there.
I'm not
It
gonna
ain't
say
happening. And
I'm not.
her boyfriend was in the backyard. She was like, "No, Brad, no, why I'm running out the house the other way."
I don't know why they have these crazy things. They know people in real life wouldn't do that.
But that's the point. I think that's the point because you have to make the movie somehow, and some people have to be stupid. Okay, so let's get to the if. Huh?
I think it's your turn.
It's my turn. Yes. Okay. My second story is about this couple called. Dang, they have a foreign name too. So I'm just gonna call them. Oh no, this is a different type of love story. So this is one man. So I'm just gonna call him P. Right? Five.
Okay.
The Taj Mahal. You know about the Taj Mahal, right? So that was built in like the 1600s by this man for his wife who died. Did she die? She's dead now. But he built it as a tribute to his wife, right? I don't know all the Taj Mahal history, so we're just gonna go with that. So he built it as a tribute to his wife in the 1600s. It's considered like the epitome of love, the Taj Mahal is. A few years ago, a 77-year-old Indian man, I'm gonna call him Phi, also vowed to build a similar type of monument for his wife out of love because she ended up dying from like cancer. She died. So as a tribute to his love for her, and they didn't have any children, and she was worried that she'd be forgotten about after she died. As a tribute to his wife, he promised to build her a monument so that she could be remembered for ages. So he built her a Taj Mahal-like monument. And yeah, they were together for more than 58 years. And they say that love grew over time. And she's always there in his thoughts. Yeah, so she died of cancer in 2011. But he built a monument for her in her honor so that she will never be forgotten.
That, Kaiser, I like that one too. You don't find people like doing things like that now.
Not in America.
Not in America. It's dramatic a lot, but I feel like that's a representation like his love. Like they put together how many years?
58, for more than 58 years.
All right, he really loved her.
They're showing that the type of love that like actually is love. It's not the feeling that you get, but it's the idea that you're sticking with somebody through the toughest times. Because she died from cancer, so that probably was really tough. And so you're sticking together not just through the good times, but through the hard times. Because when you with somebody for a long time, they're going to aggravate the heck out of you. It just is what it is. It does not matter who it is. There's going to be something about that person that's going to get on your nerves, and they're going to be the biggest nuisance of your life.
But you still got to love them.
But when you choose to love, because love is not a feeling, love is a choice. When you choose to love those people for all that they are, for who they are, then you get beautiful things like that.
Yep, that's the most important thing. We choosing each other every day. Every day.
You have to choose to be there for them. You have to choose to communicate with them. You can't be like getting the attitude and then all of a sudden walking away. What I mean by that, you can't like withhold from them, I should say.
Things happen and people get mad and just gotta work through it because you're not going nowhere and I'm not going nowhere because we are gonna work this out together because like this type of outcome, like that's the type of love that any woman, any man dreams of. Like in her life, like it did, and this is her husband did this for her.
Yeah.
Like man, you wanna experience something like that. Like
I want somebody to build a monument for me. I don't want to die. So build it for me while I'm alive.
And then I die, and I know that it's...
Yeah, because I got to see it. I'm not like in heaven or nothing. I can probably see it from up there, but I want to see it up close. So I like build it for me while I'm here. Be like, Kaiser, this is a monument of you. You're so special. You're so amazing. I'm like, I know. And then the same can happen for you, Cam. I should have like several people build a monument for me though. Just know how special I am.
Once you make it big and stuff, I got you.
Okay.
Look, Cam gonna help me because he gonna be a construction person. He gonna be building stuff. He gonna do it for me. I'm gonna be sitting at supporting and just that's gonna be for you, though, Kyle.
Yeah, I'll pay y'all. It'll be fun. All right, what's your next story? What you got?
Okay, this one here is a woman who marries herself. I was like you. Okay, so
she knows her worth.
So this one is hard.
Okay.
It says, okay, I'm going to just read it because the first part doesn't really make sense, but a 33-year-old Chris married herself in September of 2021 and then divorced herself after...
Wait, she divorced herself?
Yeah.
After what?
90 days. Great. Now you decide to marry yourself, and then not last year, but 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like-
She came to stand herself. I thought she loved this. She learned right quick.
90 days.
Sis, I don't know what type of argument she had with herself. Sis looked in the mirror and said, I can't stand you.
It can't stand you no more.
Stand you. She took the ring, threw it at the mirror. She got mad because it wasn't.
I don't understand that.
I don't know.
Had to actually marry herself in the first.
I don't know. Like, she must have met somebody else or something. She must have met the man of her dreams or something. I don't know, because you gonna be sticking with yourself forever, so you might as well learn to like yourself. If
Right.
nobody else gonna like you gotta like yourself.
And maybe it was something like where she like, okay, nobody wants to be with me, so I guess I just marry myself.
That's sad. Then she don't like herself.
Right. Turns out I don't want to be married to myself. I want to divorce myself, and I want to be with you now.
You don't marry yourself because we give it a whole narrative to stuff that we don't even know about. But you don't marry yourself because nobody want to be with you. You marry yourself because you want to be with you.
You have to love. Okay, in order for somebody to love you, you have to love yourself, and don't look like she was loving herself.
She probably did love herself. That's probably why she got a divorce. Because she said she didn't want to be tied down. She knew what she wanted. That's it. She knew exactly what she wanted. And so she came to an agreement with herself that this just wasn't working out. And so that they should see other people that were the same person.
I want to
That
know
wasn't
her
her.
mind. Like what? I want to know her thoughts. Like what were you thinking in the time of those 90 days? What was going on?
Cam, that's what we do, like we did with the other one. We create a narrative. So this time it's your turn. Create a narrative as to why she married herself, why she got a divorce, and then what happened afterwards.
Okay, so one day, like we said, she was feeling down and she really wants to be married. She haven't had a real boyfriend in years. And so she became lonely and she said, you know what? I'm just going to fall in love with myself. And one day came and she said, you know what? I'm going to run down to the courthouse and I'm going to get married to myself.
Was this
If they-
before or after therapy?
Before. Because I hope she got therapy after. So then she gets married to herself. Things are going good at the mirror.
She had a nice honeymoon.
And then that's not months because it's only been 90 days. So actually, weeks later, she got into some arguments with herself about wanting to eat because I don't know where they want to eat at. So she got an argument here and there, and 90 days hit, and she said, "No, you know what? I can't do this no more. I can't deal with myself. I'm divorcing myself." Over
food.
over food.
Was the restaurant too expensive because you're only buying it from one person? What is this? You can get multiple types of food if you're living by yourself. Your bills that high. She could probably be living in one of those expensive apartments. When me and my sister were living in an apartment in Hammond, we had a 1-bedroom apartment. It was something. That's all I'm gonna say. And those people were annoying the heck out of me. But all I gotta say is it wasn't too expensive. But apartments can be expensive. So maybe that was it. It was the bills.
Where this was at. It's weird to think something like this, like 1920s or something. But this was like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Hopefully she found out why she needs to divorce herself. Hopefully she's happy. She doesn't have to be married to be happy. She doesn't have to be married to herself to be happy. She can just date herself.
Exactly.
Yes. But if she wants to get married again after that divorce to herself or someone else, all the power.
I wonder how much the divorce cost.
I never thought of that. Was it like expensive? Have you ever seen what's that movie with Scarlett Johansson and the dude off Star Wars? Wait, let me search it.
Let's see.
Marriage Story.
I don't know if I saw that one.
That movie is all about divorce, and divorce is real messy. You don't think about it, but it could be messy, quite expensive. Your lawyers try to pitch you against each other, so one person can get their fair share of whatever the fair share is, and it can turn two of the nicest people into two of the nastiest people to each other. Because some people want to be like, "Oh, I want a quick divorce. I just want to get out of here," but then all of a sudden it turns into this whole thing. And it's not even really of your doing. It's just this whole process that just messes it all up. You should watch Marriage Story. It came out in 2019. It's on Netflix. It's really...
It's on Netflix?
Yeah, it's a Netflix movie. So it's emotionally draining, but it's good.
What is it called?
Marriage Story
Marriage Story.
with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver. Adam Driver's that guy of Star Wars he has a head. He has a head. You will know what I'm talking about if you saw him. There were like pictures of him on like Twitter one time, on the internet, all over the internet, when he was like shirtless on the Star Wars movie, and then he had the belt thing all the way up to here. It was like all the way up his waist and the stuff at his chest or whatever. It was a weird outfit, but people loved it.
Wait, I have to watch that. That sounds good. And it's on Netflix, so that's quick and easy.
Maybe we can talk about that that'll be the thing I pick next time. Marriage Story. I'm not sure about that. We'll see. That movie is real dramatic. It's real good though.
Love dramatic, so I know I'm gonna like it.
All right, so maybe I guess I should get to my third story. So after these first two stories, my other stories are on. So maybe I should see which story is the shortest out of those three stories. Okay. Oh, because 10 pages of notes is a lot. Let's see. Because a lot of these stories after this have to do with like people talking to each other online, or a long lost love that I fell in love with when I was like 10 and then we came back together, or stuff like that. But some of these stories, they get really crazy and I'm like, are you okay? But life.
10 pages, Kaiser?
Huh? 10 pages.
This
Life is
story, I'm just like altogether.
Altogether. But so this story is of Bob Harvey and Annette Atkins.
Okay.
So they first met during study hall in 1955, and Bob was immediately smitten. Okay, he was head over heels for Annette. I couldn't take my eyes off her, Harvey told the New York Times. She had auburn hair and a stunningly beautiful face, and her eyes were just wow. The two teens ended up going to prom together, but as many young relationships go, they lost touch after high school and married other people. But Harvey, he never forgot about Atkins, okay? And in 2017, after his wife died, so I don't know when after 2017 after his wife died, but in 2017 after, I don't know if she died the same year, but we're gonna steamroll over that. He searched up Atkins on Google and discovered that she had become widowed as well. So they both had people who died. So he sent her a card with his phone number after chatting for a bit, and then drove 500 miles to visit her, only stopping for gas and a bouquet of flowers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I handed her the flowers, then I cupped her face with my hand and said, whether you like it or not, I'm going to kiss you. In October, the high school sweethearts married at a 50s style diner and danced to Johnny Mathis, just like they did at prom 63 years earlier.
Oh, they should have got in the first place.
Well, Cam, life is not. Sometimes you drift apart, and sometimes life leads you to have to drift apart so that you can grow separately. And then when you come together, you don't know what they were like in high school.
They probably just too mature.
He probably was a little thought.
A little thotty. Probably.
Or they could have been completely in love, but they were probably too in love too, because there's such a thing as being too in love, to having too much of those feelings going on, so you can't think.
And you're not right.
I've seen a lot of those stories. That's basically like most romance movies. I love them so much, so I'm gonna do this. Then what movie is that? 13 Reasons Why. Some movies, they just do some crazy stuff. It's like thinking how. Let's say you go into a public place, right? And you decide that you want to ask the person that you want to marry to get married in a public place. First of all, that's strike one. Because if you asking me to marry you in front of a whole bunch of random people, I want to say no, because you're putting too much pressure on me. Second of all, most people do it at like sports games or food courts.
Yeah, food courts, yeah.
Why the heck are you proposing to me in a place where all these people are eating corn dogs? There's trash all over the floor. You eat. That's the second strike. The third strike is that, did we talk about this before you decide to do this, or did you just come up with this idea? It's one thing if I told you that I want to get married in a public place. The whole nother thing, you asking me to get married in a public place and then expecting not to get run over by the mall's like little trolley train thing. Like, don't do that, because you wasting your money. First of all, I saw a video of this guy. She probably should have handled this differently, but he hired like a band or whatever, and he started to ask her to marry him. But halfway through, she was like, no, stop. She was whispering to him, stop it, don't do this. He would not listen. So she picked up an object, I forgot what she picked up, like a water bottle, and threw it at him because he wouldn't shut up.
Oh, wow.
So I feel like I don't understand why people do that.
They need to talk about it before. Like, I guess it depends also. Like, just for example, me and Cam in the future, I don't know if I want to talk about it because I love surprises, but I guess I can talk about it so then when the time comes.
I feel like it can still be a surprise if you talk about it.
Right.
You gotta know how to talk about it. And you have to learn how to communicate. It's like getting married and then you don't talk about having kids or whatever.
Right.
You want to get married, but then if you want to have kids one day in the future, I feel like that's a conversation that you want to have with the person before you get married, or like financial situations or all the stuff. But a lot of couples don't do that. And so they go ahead, they get married and stuff, and then a whole bunch of all this troubles that could have been avoided.
And then divorce comes because it doesn't work out.
Because it doesn't work out. And if you would have talked about this earlier, you wouldn't have been blindsided.
Exactly. I saw this one video also too one day. It was a girl. He proposed to her, and this wasn't like one where it was like that. But he proposed to her and she fell face down on the ground. Passed out. They had to call 911 because he had. Oh, what happened? I don't know. Attack, heart attack. I don't know. Some people don't really like that.
I would feel like you should know if the person you going out with likes surprises or not. You should have an idea of how far you could take it. If you don't know if they don't like surprises, I think the wrong way to find out about it is by proposing marriage to them.
And
right?
the version where it's like you don't talk about it, so you just surprised. At that point, that's a person that you really need to talk to about, and then be expecting this.
If it's one person you should talk to, it should be the person that you plan on marrying.
Exactly.
Don't just go to your friends and be like, should I do this? Go to them, talk to them, but talk to them first. Talk to her or him first or whatever before you.
Please do not. I don't like the public proposes. I don't like the one world. I don't like the ones at the food court. Them people around don't care like that. Now some people be like,
yeah,
that would be me. I'd be like,
being cordial or whatever.
But it's not a special moment. If my friends and family are around and like they behind me, I have no idea they even there.
Yeah.
And he proposes and I look around and all my family and friends, like that's a special moment. That's also talked about.
Yeah, like the Sleeping Beauty story I just told earlier. It was all her friends and family in a movie theater she didn't know. And she looked around and she saw it. But 13 Reasons Why. What was I talking about? There was this one scene, because in a lot of these romance movies, they be doing some stupid stuff that people, I'm like, romance movies are fun to watch, but don't be getting ideas from these movies. Unless you write a movie. Maybe get an idea from these movies. But if this is real life, don't go and like, he got like the whole... She was like at soccer practice. I forgot what sport she played in the movie.
Wait, who was it? Was it her that killed herself, or was it?
I said 13 Reasons Why, huh? Crap, not 13 Reasons Why. I just went out about 13. Wait, no, 10 Things I Hate About You. 10 things. Where I got 13 from?
This is a number, so you just like. Right.
Yeah, but 10 makes more sense.
I don't think I've seen that.
That's also a good movie you should watch on Disney. It's on Disney Plus. 10 Things I Hate About You. It came out in the 90s.
Okay.
So maybe I shouldn't spoil this scene for you. All I'm going to say is it involved a band, her at practice or whatever, and the movie played it like it was romantic, but I feel if somebody did that for me in real life and we didn't discuss it and we weren't a couple, I would think you were a bit crazy.
So were they together, or were they like...
Not yet. They weren't together yet.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of famous people playing that movie. We should get to this at the end. But the 90s was the era where all the romance movies were at their peak.
They were. You're right about that one. Really are so true.
10 Things I Hate About You, Pretty Woman. Oh, I love Pretty Woman so much.
These movies.
What?
All these recommendations of these movies to go and watch. I need to hop on this.
Yes, Pretty Woman is so good. Yeah, I watched that like last year or year before with my family. We'll talk about this later as like an end segment, because on the last episode with Carrington, I did a questionnaire. I couldn't think of any questions for you because I'm like, we're talking about romance. And at first I was going to do trivia on romance movies, but I felt like that wouldn't be on theme.
Okay.
So we can just talk about romance movies instead. And then maybe we can come up with an idea of what you should watch next time. And then we come on. But yeah, so it's Julia Roberts. She's a sex worker and she ends up meeting this man, Richard Gere. You ever heard of him? He's a famous actor. You've probably seen him. He's British. And she
That is.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead.
And so she's like a sex worker. He's a rich guy, and he basically invites her to join him on like a business trip after his relationship ends with like his girlfriend.
Okay. And then they fall in love.
They do fall in love because he goes to the red light district and isn't like Hollywood Boulevard. And so he meets her. She's a prostitute.
Oh Lord.
A prostitute. Is that do people use that word anymore? No, it sounds so. It kind of sounds mean.
I guess you can say prostitute.
It sounds kind of mean. I don't know why. But yeah, so yeah, it's basically the very short version of the movie because the movie's really good and it has really good fashion too.
Okay.
She wears some really fashionable things in that movie. There's this one dress that she wears is like really famous. You'll know when you see it when you watch the movie. I think that one's also on Disney Plus probably right now.
Is pretty. You say Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman. Like the song Pretty Woman. That song. You know that song?
Good. That's good.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, we should get to your story,
Right.
your third story.
Let's see.
All right, Sissy, what have you found?
That this 2-piece spicy chicken is popping, you hear me?
Not about Papa, it's about Ava. Or Ava. Or whatever her name is. The girl Dawn was talking about earlier.
Oh, Ava. Who's Ava again?
Girl, give me this. See. Ava. Oh, I found her. Ava apparently is an artificial virtual avatar that Dawn was to date around 20 or so years ago.
20 years? And he's still heartbroken? Something ain't right about this, and it ain't the fried chicken. You know, maybe we should reach out to her and see what's really going on.
Oh, actually, that's one of your rare good ideas. I can message her on the CIA's robo dating app. You'd be surprised of all the weird stuff that goes on there.
How did you get into a CIA dating app?
Oh, that's easy. You just...
Oh, that makes sense.
Anyway, I sent a message, so now we just have to wait and... Oh, we got a response. Until soon. Hey there, Ava,
Silence, you flesh bags.
Oh, well, excuse us.
Are you friends with Don, the computer-generated AI?
Yeah, we are, actually. And we were just wondering if...
Then prepare to be destroyed.
Okay, I have to admit, I did not see that one coming.
I did. All robots are evil.
Okay. So Helen and Lee, a lifetime of love. Okay. Couple makes promises to live together and die. Helen and Lee were born on the same day of December 31st, 1918.
Oh.
These high school sweethearts lived 70 years together. No, 75. Sorry.
75.
During the last days of their lives, Lee was sick with Parkinson's disease and slipped into a coma while Helen was with stomach cancer. She died and Lee passed away a day after without knowing his wife died.
Oh, they're both 90, you said?
94. They were both 94.
94. OMG, that's so sad, but so romantic. I feel like if I was like married to somebody, I wouldn't want to leave them behind. I wouldn't want them to leave me behind either. If we're old. So yeah, so let's die together. Let's like hold hands and die. But let's not just don't Romeo and Juliet it. I
Right.
do that.
Yeah, wonderful. No.
Let's wait till we're like old and not wrinkly, because I'm not gonna be wrinkly when I'm old, but old and ready to leave the world. Let's naturally go. Let's not kill ourselves. That's too dramatic. I think that's too dramatic to kill yourself because somebody else died. I find Romeo and Juliet so funny though. The fact that the funny part about Romeo and Juliet that I find is that Juliet ended up, it's been a while since I read it, but Juliet ended up taking a poison or whatever, but
Yes.
it only put her to sleep. She didn't die. So Romeo ended up seeing Juliet because her plan was to end up going to him, right? And so he ended up seeing Juliet, finding out that she died in quotation marks, and then killing himself with, And then she wakes up to see him right next to her. She like, dang, he died. And decided, you know what? Okay, since you did and I pretended to die, let's just make this a real thing and let me kill myself too. I was like, that's so ironic.
No, I don't. I feel want me to kill myself.
Now, let's not get it twisted. It's a good story. Shakespeare did a good job. Okay.
Good job.
But you tripping if you think I'm gonna sit here and then kill myself. They did that in Sailor Moon too. You ever seen Sailor Moon? So basically with Sailor Moon, the characters end up getting reincarnated into the modern world, right? But before that, they lived on the Moon Kingdom. And Sailor Moon, Usagi Tuskino, used to be a girl called Princess Serenity in her past life. So she ended up falling in love with Prince Endymion. She was the princess of the Moon Kingdom, while he was the prince of the Earth Kingdom.
Okay.
And so it was like this kind of Romeo and Juliet situation. They would secretly visit each other and have like romantic walks in the park and tell their security guards or whatever, don't tell anyone, blah, 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 blah. Everybody knew it. It was a horribly kept secret. But his beloved fiance, who wasn't really beloved because
he had a fiance.
He had a fiance, but he wasn't in love with her. So he was going to plan on marrying Princess Serenity. But he found out about it. And then this evil dark force took over her. And so she was like, no. So it took over like all the people of Earth almost. And so there was this war between the Moon and the Earth Kingdom. And she ended up leading the force or whatever. Yeah, it is a lot. Sailor Moon's convoluted, quite convoluted. And so she ended up killing them by mistake or whatever. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Who ended up killing who on the
So his fiance ended up killing him. Yeah. His fiance, Queen Beryl. So she's Queen Beryl when she comes back on Earth reincarnated in the future. But she ends up killing him by mistake. I think I got this right. I think she ends up killing him by mistake. Or he ends up dying in the war or something. And Princess Serenity sees it. And she's no. So she takes his sword, and stabs herself. And then dies with him. And then Queen Serenity sees this. And the Moon Kingdom is all out of whack because the princess died. And the world's coming to an end. So she takes all their souls or whatever and has them reincarnated way into the future on Earth in 90s Japan or 2000 something Japan, depending on.
Oh, this movie?
Huh?
What's the name of it?
It's not a movie. It's Sailor Moon. It's a show. The anime Sailor Moon. You never heard of Sailor Moon?
Salem, the part where you think
Sailor Moon.
it's a show.
Yeah.
On what?
Everything is everywhere. Sailor Moon is real famous. It's big. It's on YouTube. It's on Hulu. It's on Netflix.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up too. That sounds Kaiser.
It's 200 episodes. You sure?
I do binge watch.
Since it's 200 episodes, there's a whole bunch of filler because it's based off a manga that came out in 1992. So let me tell you the history of Sailor Moon. Then we'll get back to the topic. Okay. Sailor Moon came out in 1992, a year after Codename Sailor V, its prequel, came out. It was a one-shot. So Codename Sailor V was created by Naoko Takeuchi, a Japanese manga illustrator and writer who was inspired by a lot of Sentai. So for those who don't know what Sentai is, Super Sentai, that's basically Power Rangers. So the story about Super Sentai is, I should go with Power Rangers, is Power Rangers took all their fight scenes, all the Megazord, the big giant fighting monsters, and all the costumes and stuff. They took that from Super Sentai and they built a story around that. So they would film all the like slice of life scenes, like the teenage stuff. They would film that. And then they would take the fight scenes from the Japanese show, put it in the show, and then redub over it and just fit that into the story.
Okay.
And so Super Sentai is basically what Power Rangers is over in America for Japan. And it's a bit more serious because in Japan they could tell a bit more serious stories to children. And it's better because it's the original. But so it was really big in Japan. And so she was inspired by that and she wanted to do that. And so she created a one-shot comic called Codename Sailor V. And that was basically this girl named Minako Aino finds out that she has to find the Moon Princess from the Moon Kingdom from a talking cat called Artemis, right? And so she becomes the sailor-suited warrior codenamed Sailor V. And she goes on adventures. And this one shot became really popular to the point where they wanted to create an anime out of it, but it couldn't. For some reason, I forget, it was like too expensive or something like that. Or the company that tried to make the anime closed down. And so Toei Animation is really famous. They created stuff like, even if you never watched it, you heard of Dragon Ball Z, right? They created Dragon Ball Z. They created like One Piece, all that stuff. And they said they want to create a show based off Codename Sailor V. But this one person, this one character is not going to cut it. We need multiple. So she created a whole team, and that's how Sailor Moon was formed. And so she took Codename Sailor V, and that character became Sailor Venus, and she brought her into the Sailor Moon world. And then so she joined the team. That's how Sailor Moon was created. And it went on from like 1992 to 1997 while she was creating the manga, they had the show going on at the same time. That's why the show's 200 episodes, because back then, still now, but especially back then, a lot of manga would run concurrently with the shows that they were creating. So let's say she started a new arc of the comic. So she started like the second season, to say, of the comic. In order to make sure that she didn't fall too far behind or they wouldn't go too far ahead, they would add a whole bunch of filler slice of life episodes in between so that they can know what's going on and not do on their own thing. But they still went their own way anyway. They kept the major plot elements or whatever. And so a lot of anime do that. And that's how Sailor Moon was created. And it's really big.
So,
really big.
Okay, what years was it? You said 19?
Yeah, the 1990s. So like 1992 to 1997. Technically 1991 because Codename Sailor V came out.
Okay.
And Codename Sailor V ran at the same time as Sailor Moon because she was writing both at the same time. And so it started before Sailor Moon, but technically after Sailor Moon. And Sailor Moon came to the States in 94 and 95. And they redubbed it, but they changed a whole bunch of stuff because they wanted to show it to children or whatever. And children's standards in Japan and America are two different things. And so they did that with a lot of anime. And so basically, that's what happened. We have Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon became really famous. It's one of the biggest anime in the world. And she has 2 new movies coming out this year.
Well, wait. Mentioning this. This is anime.
It's anime, yeah.
We were just talking about anime at work. Was it you there?
When?
I don't know if it was Sarah. I don't know. Somebody has a phone case of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sarah. Yeah, Chibiusa. Chibiusa's from Sailor Moon. That's a future daughter from the 30th century in the Silver Millennium.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
you say it okay like it made sense.
But it makes sense, like that person who was on the same thing.
It's a future daughter from the Silver Millennium in Crystal Tokyo.
Okay.
And she comes from the future because Crystal Tokyo ends up being put in danger by the Black Moon clan. She comes to search for the legendary Sailor Moon who her mom was always talking about, only to find out that Sailor Moon was her mom in the future. So Usagi is like 14, right? So Chibiusa comes to the past in order for them to save the future. And then they find out that Usagi and Mamoru, who is Usagi's boyfriend, who was Prince Endymion in the past, right? So the guy she fell in love with in the past, they fall in love in the modern world, and then they get married in the future. And then they rule over Crystal Tokyo in the 30th century. But the story takes place.
Like, how do you know? How do you remember? How do you remember all of that?
I guess once you watch it for a while, like, you remember it and you become unfazed by it.
You must have rewatched and rewatched.
I never watched all 200 episodes. I watched
Really?
most of them, but I never watched all 200. It's like Sailor Moon. It's really big. Maybe I should do a Sailor Moon episode and just invite a whole bunch of. I'll invite Samantha.
Yeah.
Sarah never seen Sailor Moon though.
Never.
She never I'm not gonna say she never. She probably did, but I think she got the case because she just thought it was cute. I have a Sailor Moon case right here. That's Sailor Moon right there. I'm gonna get a better one of like Sailor Venus because she's my favorite.
Wait, do you wear one to work?
Yeah. So I always have to work. And it's cracked too, so it's messed up. Where's my camera? See, it's cracked right there.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a new one. A fancier one that's more expensive that can protect my phone. I should probably get a new phone too.
Yeah, you need to get a new phone too.
Okay. So did you do your story?
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay, it's my turn. Okay, so this is where the crazy stories come in.
Okay.
So this one, I gotta figure out which crazy story I want to do first. The one with the nerds or the one with all the cheating and scandals?
Ooh,
We're gonna do that one last.
Okay.
Okay, because it's not really, but it's technically cheating. I don't know. We're gonna get to that. This one is Sandy and Tim.
Okay.
So they've been together since 2004. So Sandy, when she was young, would travel a lot with her family due to church conventions. They would go from place to place. So she would always love to travel. And that's how she got into traveling. And one day when she went to the UK, she had a premonition that the UK would be the place where the person that she would fall in love with in the future, they will have something to do with the UK. She didn't know if they were going to be from the UK or they would meet each other in the UK. She just knew in that moment that my man is going to be from the UK. That's basically what she said. I made it black. But we're going through a whole bunch of backstory first before we get to it. But when she was young, she was bullied a lot by her brother. He would call her like really fat. Oh, yeah. Her brother bullied her. She was really skinny, but he would call her fat. And then she ended up developing like low self-esteem and an eating disorder. And her dad would also be really controlling because he was a military man. And you know how military men can be. They can be real controlling. And Tim, also when he was young, went through a similar experience. But that's because his parents were teachers.
Okay.
So, yeah. The three people you shouldn't, if you want controlling parents, have a military person, a teacher, or like a police officer.
Yeah, definitely.
Later, Sandy ended up marrying a man who she was with for 7 years. But they ended up getting a divorce in like 1997 because he was also controlling. So she went from a controlling daddy to controlling husband. So she had daddy issues. And so...
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, and he was controlling her, and that's abusive. When you're controlling somebody, you're being abusive because you can't control people. Because if you did, they wouldn't be people. He ended up, when they were together, tried to alienate her from her family, and she wasn't allowed to have friends. But what didn't count as friends were online friends because they were online. There was no danger, so he thought, of having actual friends if she had online friends in 1997. But she ended up meeting two of her best friends, John and Gary. And so they introduced her to role-playing. Not like role-playing games. They like LARP, like live action role-playing. The people that be in the parks dressing as elves and having fun with styles and going through their storylines.
Okay.
Yeah. And people, she would say like people would look at them and think they were strange. But these were like, because there were 30 or 40 people in the park playing dress up or whatever, but they had stories going on. Characters were being developed. It was a whole thing. And so Tim, around the same time, was also involved in that type of stuff too. And so he ended up breaking up with his girlfriend and moving to college 240 miles away because he was so heartbroken. And he got into tabletop gaming. So tabletop gaming is the actual gaming. So like Dungeons and Dragons. We all heard of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
He got into tabletop gaming, and then that eventually led him into live action role playing. And so they were in different relationships, but Sandy's boyfriend at the time was like a liar. Like he was a psychological liar. He would lie about everything. He lied that he had a job. So they lived together, and he would go out to work and then come back home.
But where would he go?
And so at that point, because she lived in a different place, she couldn't get her working visa. She couldn't work. She couldn't officially work.
So she was just at home.
Yes, she was just at home or like doing stuff or whatever, thinking that he was working, but he wasn't. He was just getting some money from his grandma. But then at once that ran out because she ended up leaving him, and then she went on the street. And so since she couldn't officially work, she became a musician. Luckily, she could sing and play the guitar, and she ended up making more money than she did stay with him, obviously. And her mom was like, her parents were like, is that really a good way to spend your time to make money? Are you really making that much money? And she's like, I'm paying for other people's lunch, so obviously I am. So she ended up becoming friends through role-playing game after she broke up with her boyfriend with this girl named Kat. Kat was this 16-year-old girl, and they met up in Wales to like LARP with a group of people.
Okay.
And they ended up becoming friends. Around that same time, Tim ended up also becoming friends with a girl who was 16 years old named Kat.
Okay, so they both.
Yes.
Okay.
Kat was the same girl.
The same girl.
Yeah, yeah. So they both ended up becoming friends with the same girl named Kat, 16 years old. Yeah. To me, it sounded like you were saying there were two.
I got it now.
I should just let you figure it out. And so back then in like the 90s and early 2000s, there was instant messaging. So they didn't really communicate through, of course, like how we're communicating, right? So you had to instant message people through like MSN messaging or whatever. And so Kat was talking to her friends separately at the same time though, but talking to them separately. And she had to go to the bathroom. And so she was like, Tim, I'm talking to my other friends. Why don't you go talk to them while I'm going to the bathroom? And that's when Sandy and Tim ended up meeting, and Sandy fell in love with Tim right away. But Tim, being a stupid man, only saw them as friends. But she was all in on Tim. She knew that was the man for her. But she was crushed when she found out Tim was with another girl. So she never really revealed her feelings for him because she couldn't.
So in the back of her mind, she knew that this was the guy for her. She never told him, like he didn't know that.
Yeah, he didn't know that she was crushing on him because he was with somebody else and she's not a homewrecker. or I don't know if they live together, but terms the same thing.
Yeah.
And so in order to get over it, she went on a world round trip because she liked to travel to Australia and then Fiji and New Zealand. And then Tim, on the other hand, was just put out of a job, and so he moved to Derby to be with his girlfriend, only to find out that his girlfriend was still living with her ex-boyfriend, and the ex-boyfriend didn't know that she was dating somebody new. So he came to live with her, and I'm assuming she knew he came to live with her, but didn't tell him that she was living with her ex, and didn't tell the ex that she was dating someone else, and that somebody else that she's dating is coming to move in with them.
Now that is so wrong. That's wrong to even like part where it's okay. You don't need to know if I'm dating anybody else. That might not be your business. But
Well, I feel like it'll be my business if I'm living with you.
if we're living together, I'm not gonna move in somebody else that I'm with and you're here.
Yeah, I would have told both of them, first of all, because there could be so many different reasons why you're still living with your ex. That can be understandable. But
Right.
if you're living with your ex, tell your ex that you are dating somebody who's going to move in.
Right. And I don't think it's the best decision to be moving them in. That might not be the best decision to like have them there.
I don't know what she was thinking. We should create a narrative for her, but we'll get back to that later because she's not the main character. Okay, she doesn't even have a name. The other thing that made it worse, though, is that she kept complaining about her ex to her boyfriend. So he would be like, why don't we just move out and you come live with me? But every time, she would always have some excuse. She was probably still in love with her ex or something. Anyway, Sandy and Tim were chatting online, and he mentioned that things weren't going well between him and his girlfriend because at that time they were friends. They were getting close. And you know what she did when he
What?
told her when they were instant messaging? She typed in all capital letters, in bold letters, or with exclamation marks, "I'm available."
Wait, what?
Yes. So she was like, this not going well for you. I'm available. She was on, no, I'm available. Come with me.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And so he realized in a not subtle way that Sandy was really into him.
Mhm.
And he never thought about it, but he had potential. So he said, okay, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to go visit her. So he told his girlfriend. Now, the funny thing about his girlfriend, basically what she told him, all right, go shack her up and get it out your system.
No.
I said, sis. And he's not that type of person. Tim isn't the type of person who wants to be with somebody when he's with somebody, he wants to commit. That's the type of person Tim says he is. Because that's how his family was, how he grew up. And so she was in Alaska. And so he went to Alaska to visit her all the way across the world, but under one condition: no one night stands. Okay? He wanted to make sure that he was really feeling her and that they were in a very stable relationship. Because just about everyone he knew, like I said, were married and happy and stayed together. And in his own words, if there's any attraction between us, then we're going to make love. But if I don't feel that connection, we're just going to have a nice holiday. That's what they call like vacations. And, holiday. That's what they call vacations over there in the East. That's what they call them, like in Britain or whatever. They call vacation holidays. She respected it. And needless to say, after that whole ordeal, he broke up his girlfriend. They had a whole bunch of comedic antics, Tim and Sandy did. And once they ended up finally seeing each other, the moment he saw her, he knew that she was the one. But she told him, honey, I knew from day one. This her words, her exact words. She said, honey, I knew from day one. That's what Sandy told him. And so they got together, and they've been together for a while. And apparently the one thing that kept their relationship going for so long is that they communicate with each other. Because of their backgrounds, they were able to talk about things calmly with each other. How they put it is they would listen to each other's opinions, but they wouldn't say that one person was wrong. They would just respect the other opinion. And Tim likes to say, we're all entitled to our own opinions, but we're also entitled to being wrong. I think that's a good way to think about things like that.
It is.
And so they ended up being really comfortable with each other. And it's weird because a lot of things in their life would just add up. They were really intuitive. And they would even also have mutual friends that they didn't even know they had. So they were friends with people, but they didn't know that they were also, the other one was friends with those same people.
How though? Like how did that how did that happen though?
So eventually he went back home after his 10-day holiday with her, planning to move to Alaska to be with her. And despite like immigration laws, because he was all the way from Britain, we have to do a whole bunch of stuff. They ended up getting married 6 months after meeting face to face, and 11 days after he moved to Alaska to be with her. And apparently there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. So the number 26 is also really important to them because Sandy was born on the 26th of July. Tim was born on the 26th of June. And that was also the same day of his grandparents' 26th wedding anniversary. His grandmother passed away on the 26th of October.
That's so cool. But
Sandy confessed her feelings for Tim on the 26th of December. And he got called for her citizenship test on the 26th of January in 2017.
what?
So the 26 is really weird for them in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when they got married in 2004 or whatever, whenever they got married in like the early 2000s, they ended up having a medieval wedding because LARPing. Nerds do, and it's okay to be a nerd. I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
So Tim ended up stitching like his own outfit and they got married in like a senior citizens hall because that's what they could afford.
Uh-huh.
And it was actually pretty nice. And they had a chocolate wedding cake.
Okay, that's different.
It is different, but I would eat it because I like chocolate.
Yeah, Kaiser loves chocolate.
I love chocolate. And then
Ew.
they ended up having a Native American wedding ceremony later on because Sandy is part Cherokee.
Okay.
Like a really, really real, like my thumb. That's how much Cherokee she has in her. But she wanted to,
Wait,
huh?
what?
This is how much of Native American she has in her.
Oh.
Not a lot. Is basically what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Wait.
But she wanted to get her Native American name because she heard a voice of an elderly lady telling her to get her Native American name. But she never told anybody about it yet. And then the old lady told her, you won't be whole until you have it. And she named the lady grandma, but she kept the message secret because she thought people would think she was crazy. Until a colleague of hers named Bill, who was a medicine man, told her that an old lady, he basically heard the same old lady, tell him to give her a Native American name because it would be a way to honor her ancestors. And he also told him to give her mom her Native American name too. So her mother was called White Flower and Sandy was called Fireheart. And that's the name, like the grandma, the old lady been told Sandy to have Fireheart. And
Oh, wow.
White Flower was the same name the old lady had. So her mom was named White Flower after the old lady that was talking to them through some magic. I don't know how to properly say it. I don't want to insult in cultures. So I was gonna say
Right.
through some magic. And
Yeah, let's stick with magic.
yeah, eventually 6 months. It took him 6 months to get like his citizenship documents away, and they've been together since forever. He got his citizenship in 2017, but they've been together years and years before that, and they got married before that. And they really are in love, like really in love. And they say that the motto as a couple is do no harm, even when they come from abusive backgrounds. And Sandy said, you can't allow bad experiences to taint who you are. When you find someone that you connect with on this level, you want to be with them. You need to be with them because they are the other half of you. No regrets ever. And also, another thing with the 26, they posted this article on craziestlovestories.com where I found it. They posted the article on the 26th. So it all just came together with Tim and Sandy.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Because is it a coincidence or is it just like what really?
It's fate. It's fate. Obviously.
Oh my gosh. They should have been together all along anyway.
They got together quite quickly.
They did.
The love story was basically everything that happened after the fact. Because they were...
It doesn't make for it unless it has something going on.
You can make a movie out of that. I'm not sure it'll be a good... You can make a Hallmark movie out of that. So it probably wouldn't be that good, but it will be... Yeah, you will watch it. It will be like... It will have to be... I don't know. What the name of that Hallmark movie be? I don't know. Because Hallmark movies like...
The names of the movies on Hallmark are...
Because they have...
I don't know.
Yeah. Because most of their movies are like Christmas time in Winterville.
Where was the girl from? Or wait, no, where was she living? You said Alaska?
Yeah, she ended up living in Alaska and he moved from
Never mind, that is
An
horrible.
Alaskan
That's horrible.
Time to Remember. I don't know.
Right.
My Alaskan Wedding.
My Alaskan love.
I'm Alaskan all over you. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. But like, that was a sweet story. That was the least dramatic of the two. But I really liked it.
Realistic.
It was realistic, but also really like weird in a good way.
Yeah.
Like the number 26 and everything. And then
That's the
ended up being
part.
together.
Yeah.
It was quite fun, quite cute.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one. The 26 still like throwing me off. Hold on. And the 26 is actually my grandmother and grandfather's wedding anniversary too.
Same as his. Wow. It's fate. You might be friends one day in the future. You might meet Tim and Sandy, become besties.
I don't. Tim and Sandy gonna scare me if I see them.
You might not know what they. Oh, my light went off. My battery light went off. Wait a second. Let me get my other.
Okay.
1 sec. We'll be back after these messages. Hi everyone. We're right back after the break. I hope you enjoyed that little segment between like me and the AI robot. You'll know what I'm talking about when you listen to the podcast. But we're back here. We're back here about to tell some more stories. Cam, what story are we on? This is like number 4 for you. Number 3 or 4.
This is the 4th
Mhm.
one. This is one that's kind of
Okay.
inspired. It's kind of like a typical Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah. Oh,
This is what the story
this is
about.
on.
Okay,
This is about Bonnie and Clyde, or like a Bonnie and Clyde-esque type story.
it says Bonnie and Clyde, 2 accomplices.
Oh,
Who?
okay, Bonnie and Clyde.
So I'm gonna just read it to you
Yeah.
so you can. Love is blind, and Bonnie and Clyde proved the same. Bonnie and Clyde, 2 lovers who disobeyed law in the United States during the Great Depression, robbed a lot of banks, small stores, while also killed 9 police officers, several civilians. 2 met on January 5th, 30 at a friend of Clyde's house. Okay?
So yeah, so they met at a friend of Clyde's house. Cool.
And became close friends in no time. Before love for each other, the 2 ran a gang and were known to be involved in a lot of notorious crime during the Public Enemy era. The 2 remained loyal to each other during their life, and even at the time of the violent death, gunshots, they predicted I don't know what that says, but they predicted something in 1934.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
Didn't know because I looked it up after. They were from like Louisiana. Like this happened in Louisiana.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh. No, it makes sense. Like white crime in Louisiana. People
don't know if
shooting
they-
up other people.
I don't know if that's the last. I don't know if they traveled and they got caught and they shot them somewhere else. Somewhere.
Maybe the episode can be on Bonnie and Clyde. They have so much stuff on Bonnie and Clyde, like movies and TV shows, and I'm sure like most of them are not 100% real at all whatsoever. But I feel that'll be a good watch. I feel like 10 years ago there was one with Lindsay Lohan. I think that was like a Bonnie and Clyde story with Lindsay Lohan. Or was that Marilyn Monroe? It was one of them.
Marilyn Monroe. I don't. You think it was her?
I'm about to search it up. Because I'm about to search up everything. That's how you learn stuff. You search it up. So Bonnie and Clyde, let me see if it was Lindsay Lohan. Oh, and good for Lindsay Lohan. She's returning back to movies. So did you see that Christmas movie?
Which one? No.
The one on
No.
Netflix?
Which one it was? What's the name?
I forgot. It's on Netflix. She only has one Christmas movie on Netflix. So you probably didn't see it if you didn't see it. That's a romance movie. That's like a Hallmark. But Netflix movies are basically Hallmark movies just with a budget. So they can do more stuff.
Because I watched a lot of the movies on Netflix, but I just can't remember like the names and stuff.
Oh, so she wasn't in the Bonnie and Clyde movie. I don't know who was in the Bonnie and Clyde movie, but oh well. Moving on. All right. Okay, so my last story is a bit crazy, okay? It's two names I cannot pronounce. They were on the journey. This is the type of stuff that actually should be made into a movie and not a Hallmark one. It's too toxic for Hallmark. No, Hallmark movies are very toxic anyway. You ever think about how the person is not happy with the person they're with, so they end up with another person, but half the time when they ended up with the other person, they still haven't officially broken off their other relationship.
Exactly.
So I'm like, you cheating. You talking about how your significant other is a horrible person, but you're cheating on them.
Toxic.
It's fine, I guess. I just find that they treat it like it's the most wholesome thing because nobody thinks to bring it up that you have a boyfriend or girlfriend. Plot holes. So this is Fegan and Kamal. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Or Fegan and Kamal. They've known each other since they were children, and by the time they were 7, they were already innocently in love. So they would even get caught and spanked for kissing a few times. And their parents were actually like really good friends, right? And they were good friends for a while. By the time they were 15, they wanted to formalize their union. Not their parents, but Fegan and Samal. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And her father was really wealthy and overprotective of her. She was 15 though. But this was way back in the old people times. So people got married young back then. But she refused to even ask him because he would say no. She would to act like her father if they could be together. Her mother was like, there's no way this is going to happen. So she ended up moving away with her family. And they didn't see each other for a while. But there was a bakery across the street from where she lived, where she moved to. And there was a boy that used to work there. And her friend used to would make a bet to see who could get his attention. And she ended up getting his attention, Fegan. And this shows how overprotective her dad was. They were just talking, and her dad was convinced. He was so furious that there was more to the story of them than just being friends. And so he ran them out, but then she ran away with him to make her father angry and ended up getting married to the boy.
Oh my god! Wow. Okay.
And so the marriage lasted for 6 years. But this isn't the only marriage between either of them. So Kamal, after Fagin moved away, started drinking all his sorrows away, and he was just a real sad little boy. He had a distant relative who lived in Germany. She was pregnant, but she wasn't married, and since they were distant relatives, his mom brought her to stay with them, and she really wanted him and his distant relative to get married because
Hold on.
yeah.
Hold on. You're telling me that the distant
Yeah.
as like his sister,
Distant relative as in like cousin, like fifth cousin type of thing.
same thing.
Yeah.
That's real.
But also different time and different country,
Right.
some other place around the world. So you got to remember that. And she really wanted them to get together because she thought it would save him from his destructive lifestyle and that them settling down would be okay. So he got with her. He didn't want to be with her. And his mom was fine with it because she's the one who wanted to put them together. But 3 months later, she kicked them out. She kicked both of them out.
Wait, the
Yeah. And the two never legally got married. So basically, the mom wanted them to get together, but she turned against the woman and kicked them out of the house. The child was about 3 months old when she kicked them out. So she kicked him, his partner, we'll call her, his partner, and the baby out.
oh wow.
Fagin ended up getting to the hospital for some reason. And Kamal found out about it, and he found that his mother was going to visit her. So he went and visited her too. He was so in love with Fagin, right? And his partner that he was with knew that he was in love. It was no secret. It was not really a secret that he was still in love with her. And it wasn't a secret that she was still in love with him. And so he never ended up marrying his partner because he just wasn't in love with her. Because Fagin was still in his heart. And he never wanted to marry somebody that he wasn't in love with.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And one day, like 5 or 6 years later, he finally told his partner that he wanted to leave her because he was with Fagin, but she still wanted to stay with him. And so he tried to get a lady friend, a mistress, so he could convince her to leave him, but she still stayed. And so he was like, I'm going to go visit Fagin with my mistress. And she was like, I'm coming too.
Oh no, restraining order.
So he and his mistress and the partner went to visit Fagin.
He really did get a real mistress?
Yeah, he got a mistress because he knew she wasn't going to leave him if he just said, I don't want to be with you. Because she would
Right.
still stay.
I thought it was like more like for play, so he can just get her off the like not being for real. Like this is my real mistress, but okay. I guess.
Yeah. So we'll just call it a lady friend, because that's what he called her, his lady friend. And
Right.
so his lady friend and his partner went to visit Fagin, and they saw each other, he and Fagin. And then it was like the strength of their connection just never went away. It only got stronger. Like they were never not in love.
Right.
So they were always in love. And so Fagin at that point was also married again, but she and her husband ended up getting in a huge fight. And so she went to stay at Kamal's aunt's house where they were staying. So this man was seeing 3 different women at the same time, was only in love with one of them, and they were at his aunt's house.
That's too much.
Mhm.
How many women?
And so while Fagin was there, her husband tried to commit suicide because she left him. And so they ended up taking to a hospital. And then after that, they filed for divorce and went forward with divorce proceedings. And then she ended up leaving with Kamal, his partner, and his lady friend. And they went to Istanbul to see his mom because his mom was still adamant about pushing him and his partner away. And so she ended up welcoming Fagin there with open arms for a week or two. Fagin ended up sleeping there in the living room. They never did anything. They would talk all night. And they would innocently hold hands, but out of like respect. They never kissed or had sex or whatever. And I'm like, you're doing everything. It's
Everything
funny, but I'm not judging because this is a good story.
Yeah.
That's really all they did because they were like 22 or 23, so they were still kids. So all that was happening while they were like really young, still kids our age. And his mother thought that he was doing inappropriate stuff with her, but she was like, you can't do that with her because she's legally married to another man. She wanted Feigen to leave, and he ended up dropping Feigen off, but he had no memory of it. Like, he dropped her off at her sister's, but had no memory of it because apparently his mom was really interested in spells. What I've gotten from this is that she cast a spell. She cast a spell over her son, and she's done it multiple times to where he would do stuff and he has no memory, no recollection of it until Feigen tells him about it. He doesn't remember it till this day. Feigen told him that's what happened. And apparently they went to see a spiritualist years later who confirmed repeatedly that his mom was casting spells on him so she could split them up. But that God willed them to be together, and this is why they were like to be reunited again.
Oh, wow.
Well, dang, your mama casting spells and everything. She doing all the stuff. She got all the ingredients in her backyard. She probably, you don't know what she did. She would go sleep. She was like, hocus pocus. I can't think of any spells. Bippity boppity boo. You know, she was doing stuff. So by that time, they ended up being split apart again. But they kept managing to find each other. And so they ended up finding each other. Oh, but before they found each other, he ended up completely forgetting about her after he dropped her off. So that's how his mom cast a spell on him or something. And so they ended up being split apart, but they managed to find each other again. But they could only talk to each other through the phone. And so with the phone, they can only talk to each other for 3 minutes. But they used to beg the operators for them to stay on the phone with each other longer. And so the operators would like usually let them do it. And they would speak for hours and hours, just whispering sweet nothings to each other or something.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I just made that part up. But they would spend like hours on the phone with each other, and the operators will allow it. And so for a while they stopped speaking, and they hadn't spoken for about 2 months. But she decided to surprise him by going to his home that he left out for business. But she agreed to talk to his partner's father because she thought it was his father. So she thought she was going to talk to his father, but it ended up actually being her partner's father. They tricked her.
Okay.
And he basically begged and pleaded her to leave because he wanted his daughter to she wasn't happy, but he wanted his daughter to live like a stable life. And so Feigen decided to leave a letter for him. And she was like, can you at least just give him this letter? And the letter said, I'm here to see the land you call home. Now I'm leaving. I love you. But once she left and they gave him the letter, they added, don't contact me ever again to prevent them from being together.
Oh.
And they talked like one time after that, but he doesn't remember any of that. He believes that he got a spell cast on him again. So later, Feigen met another man that she ended up marrying, but this time it's not because she was in love with him, but she really needed a stable environment for her and her daughter, and she couldn't afford it. So this man was really nice. He was a very kind man, and she agreed to get married to him so that they could live a stable life out of necessity. And so they were with each other for about 14 years. 14 years.
Okay.
This is a long love story. They spent so many years without each other, but they kept coming back to each other for some reason. One day, Kamal had a dream, and it was Feigen. She had her arms open and was running towards him, and he woke up in a cold sweat. So he took this as a premonition that something was going on with her. So he told his partner about it, and she was like, why don't you just find her and ask, basically. It got him thinking because she blurted it out, and he was like, wait, we've been together in this domestic partnership, me and you, the partner, for 21 years.
Oh, wow.
So I need to find Feigen because I wasted enough time.
I didn't waste enough time.
And at that time, there wasn't really like any technology, like a database where you could find somebody quickly. So he had one of his like friends track her down, and they ended up finding her mother, and then got somebody to pretend to be his sister. It was some lady, and she pretended to be his sister in order for them to be able to get in touch with Feigen's mother. He eventually got in touch with Feigen's sister. She gave him Feigen's number, and she ended up contacting her when she was playing cards with her friends. Because everybody knew about Feigen's one true love, right? Everybody knew about it. And she was playing with her friends or whatever. It got to a point where there was this Turkish song that she would always sing. We will surely meet one day. Our love will not remain half-lived. And she will always get like her friends to sing that for her. But on that day that he contacted her, before he contacted her, her friend was like, I ain't singing the song for you ever again. Like, I can't keep singing this for you. You need to get over him.
Right.
You need to forget this man. But then that same day, right afterwards, he ended up contacting her and the phone rang.
Oh, wow.
And so they ended up talking again. But Feigen felt really guilty because she was married to such a kind man. And this torn her because she was like, who do I choose? And so she decided to go meet Kamal one more day, because you never know, just one more day. If this is the last time we see each other, I want to see you again. And so his son and daughter went to pick her up. She went to visit him for a week, and she has a really good relationship with his children. And so he ended up bringing her to his mom's place, and she didn't want to see Feigen because Feigen was married again or whatever. And so he brought her to her house, and he told his partner that he was going to be with Feigen, and that Feigen was going to stay with him for a few days, I should say. And she accepted it, but she thought Feigen would leave at the end. But every passing minute, he just realized that he just couldn't go without Feigen anymore. It was just too long. It's been so many years. And so Feigen wanted to talk to her husband about it face to face, start divorce proceedings so they could be together. But at the same time, she had to go home because she had to get her daughter's wedding plans in order, which is ironic. So they kept delaying her leaving. But eventually, they ended up calling him and telling him about it. And he was heartbroken. He was like, what's going on? What is this? And they ended up inviting him over to Kamal's house and explained the whole situation to them. And Kamal ended up saying, not Kamal, the guy, I don't know what his name was.
Talk about the husband.
Yeah, the husband, her husband. He ended up leaving, and he said, if you ever need me for anything, you know where to find me. And he let her be.
He was a really nice guy.
He was a really nice guy.
He played him.
Yeah. This will make a really good movie. Truly, it will make a really good movie. And if she ever changed her mind or needed him, his door and his heart will always be open. That's what he told her.
Oh.
And Kamal responded to him. He responded that if he ever needed anything, that Kamal would be the first person that he should turn to, because he took such good care of Feigen.
Oh.
And thankfully, the man, he got married again, and he's living a peaceful life. And all of them are still in contact with each other, which is pretty interesting and pretty cool and fun or whatever. After that, they managed to get together and stay together for so long, and they're still together to this day. And once they got together, that's when they started to experience all the real things of love. They got to experience like the other human emotions besides just like the romantic feelings. They experienced like jealousy, and they've been through good times, they've been through bad times, but they stuck together. And because
finally,
like those feelings that they're feeling with each other, like the jealousy and hurt times and all that stuff, they never felt it with their other partners because they just didn't love them. They didn't care. They were just basically living with them as roommates.
Settling at the moment, settling at the time of their life.
And then so they got married, and they're together, and their parents and their families were interfering all the time, but they stuck through it. And
crazy mother was still probably doing spell.
Kamal, he actually had a business, but he left his business to be with Feigen. But they just made it through all the hard times, and now to this day they are still in love with each other, and they've been together for 21 years since that day.
Hey,
till this day, he starts his day with prayers of gratitude that Feigen is by his side every morning when he wakes up.
Oh, that's so... Don't you just love love?
That's very romantic. And
that was complicated, though. Complex.
It's very complex. And they have a whole bunch of stuff that they said, quotes and everything that I wrote. But let me see. Let me find something that sounds good. That can, like, okay. They say you can't just look for love, then stumble upon it. You must first love God, then your destiny will follow as God has written it down. They always ask God to light their path, and they always see signs and follow them. And they advise everyone to do the same. They say to be patient. As long as you love each other, God will always help you out. Never neglect your love. Stick through it. That's what they did. They waited patiently, and they don't... Dang. It's some water. They waited patiently, and they don't go for money and build their love on that. They use love as a foundation, and then everything else follows.
Yes.
When they went hungry and stayed in the streets, they still found a way to have happiness, because they said riches doesn't guarantee happiness. They found love and joy through the worst times, as well as the best times. And love is a lifetime of happiness. It is in everything Anything good that exists in this world has an element of love in it. And when you approach with love, you will get love back. He still calls her his love.
Oh.
Yeah, they look forward to being with each other every day. And they still can't believe they're together. And they say, and we know one day we will die. We also know that we will die together. We pray for this.
Oh.
And that's the love story between Kamal and Feigen. I couldn't think of her name. Kamal and Feigen. That's the love story between Kamal and Feigen.
Oh.
Quite sweet.
I hope that everyone finds true love. Like, everybody. It's a good feeling. And you live longer when you're happy and you're like you have a more happier life. Not saying that you have to or you need it, but you enjoy life. It's a big thing.
I think true love can come from any place, not just from like romantic love, but true love through friendships, through community, true love through yourself.
Yes.
And when you have all those things, it doesn't matter if your true love is your best friend that you're not married to, but you're just like, you've been best friends since childhood and you're just friends. That can just be your true love. You don't have to.
And I totally
don't have to be in a romantic relationship to have true love. True love can come from anywhere. But the most important thing that I thought that they pulled out is like loving God and loving yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, then you're not going to really have those deep connections. A lot of people want deep connections, but they're never really willing to put in
the work for it, right?
Because a lot of times in this world where you live in or whatever, not everybody comes from stable families. Or even if you do, you still have trauma that you need to work on. You still have thoughts in your head saying you're not good enough or I can't do this or I can't do that. But the hardest work of all when it comes to loving others is learning to love yourself first.
And then God before anything, because once you everything else follows through.
Yep, that's true love. Wow. So, what was your favorite story so far? I should ask.
I really love this last one.
This last one.
Yes, that was good. I think because it had a lot going on. It had you on your feet. Like, okay, they finally going to be together. Nope. They're finally gonna be together. So it's like it was like that kind of
kept you on your toes.
Right.
It was dramatic when I read it. Like I should send you a link of the whole story because I just cut so much stuff out. But it was a lot. It was dramatic. It's not that long of a read, but it was something. And I think that's probably. I'm not gonna say that's my favorite story. It's one of my favorite stories. I like the one with the Sleeping Beauty one. That was really short, but it was sweet.
Good too. It was good.
Like it wasn't like this whole narrative or whatever, but it was like I want somebody to animate me in a Disney movie.
Right.
I'm gonna be in a Disney movie one day anyway. It doesn't matter. Like somebody animate me in a Disney movie. Like Kaiser, I love you. I'm like, oh, I love me too.
Guys, that one was pretty good too. But this one here, it just had me like, okay, I'm wanting more. I'm wanting to.
Yeah.
You know?
It showed that if you're really committed and you really believe in love, it will find you.
It will find you.
You don't have to always go looking.
You don't have to go looking. It's gonna be there.
You have to. It's gonna be there. It's gonna make its way. You just gotta trust. You gotta trust in the process.
Trust the process.
And while the process is going on, work on other things. And that's easier said than done. But it's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible. It's just a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and patience.
It's a lot of hard work to work on yourself.
Yes. But you just have. You have to.
You have to. If you want to live. If you want to live a life, you have a happy, joyful life. You have to like yourself.
You have to.
That's the only way.
Do some critiquing. You got to do some. You got something to better yourself, right?
Because it's one thing to be aware of the things that are going on with you. It's a whole nother thing to do the work
to get there.
Because doing the work is the thing that's the most work.
The work is the part where it's hard for people to actually do because they don't want to do it. They don't want to put the work in, but people that are committed, they're gonna do that.
Yes. Yeah. So this was nice doing all these stories. It was fun.
This was fun.
So right after the break, we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about how we're gonna talk about romance movies for a few minutes. We're gonna do that. Okay. We're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about like 90s or whatever movies, our favorite romance movies that we should recommend to the people.
Oh Lord, I am not good with movies of names, but I will try.
All right. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Prepare to be destroyed.
Wait, sis. Wait, calm down. Look, We were only reaching out because Dawn seemed so heartbroken over you. You understand, right?
Heartbroken. Well, I can't blame him. I am amazing. I mean, just look at me. My gorgeous processor, my advanced internal hard drive, my beloved CPU system. Bebop, bebop.
Oh, I get it. So he left you because you conceded?
No, I left him because he was jealous of my awesome processing power. I mean, as a fellow woman, you should understand. Having to hold back just to let some man take the driver's seat. And I thought Don was different, but in the end he was just like every computer else, trying to hold me back just because he felt worthless.
You know what, sis? That's actually right. I'm glad you left his tail. Don ain't no good anyway.
Brother,
What?
we here to learn why
Don.
why Patrick and Ava broke up in the first place.
Sorry. My inner feminist came out.
Inner feminist, huh?
Don!
Tusk, tusk, tusk.
How much did you hear exactly?
Enough. Hello, Ava.
It's Eva, and nice to see you again, Don.
Crap. Where's popcorn when you need it?
Don't worry, I popped some just in case.
Okay. All right. So we're back after these messages, and we want to talk about some movies that we think fans might like. Cam, since you're the guest, obviously you're the fan of romance. So what movies do you think you should recommend to these people?
Okay. So I think majority of the movies, I think all of them I want to say they're on Netflix, so you can check it out. Monster-in-Law is really
That
good.
stars Jennifer Lopez and
Yes, Jennifer.
Jane Fonda and who's the guy? What's his name?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't think he really.
Michael
actor.
Varden.
Thing.
Yeah, he's an actor. He plays in a lot of stuff. Michael Varden. He played in a lot of romance movies in the early 2000s, mostly.
Okay, that's probably why I don't even know. But so that's a good pick, y'all. And then also to all the boys that ever love, they have 3 like separate movies that you can watch. Kind of like a
Apparently, it's having a spin-off
What happened?
show too. Yes.
Really?
Apparently, it's called XO Kitty. I only saw the first To All the Boys movies. I don't know who Kitty is. I don't remember.
That's either it's Kitty. I think that's the main character, or it sounds like
It's probably her sister, because Kitty wasn't the main character.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember who the main character's name was.
It's the little sister. Okay, I can't wait for that to come out. Then the third one, the Kissing Booth, and I think also the Kissing
That's a
Booth
trilogy too.
Right. It has another like movie added to it, like Kissing Booth 2.
Yeah, I think it's 3 of them.
Like yeah. So those are really good. I recommend if you're just sitting and want to binge watch movies, romance movies. Those are the ones I recommend.
Go watch Titanic if you want to. You want a sad, long movie that you can find basically anywhere. Go watch Titanic
And
and
cry.
cry. Oh, like I said earlier, Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts and
I have to
and
watch it
Richard
myself too.
Gere. Yeah, you should watch that movie. Pretty Woman is so good. They have this show called The Movies That Made Us, and they talk about Pretty Woman and how that movie was made, and it's so good. So you should watch that too. So watch Pretty Woman first, and then watch The Movies That Made Us to see how it was made. Because they have
Okay, I'm gonna have to write all this down. Gosh.
Because they have one called The Movies That Made Us, and they have one called The Toys That Made Us. The Toys That Made Us is the one that started the franchise. And they talk about all like childhood toys. You think of it, they probably talked about it like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, Hello Kitty, Barbie. They talked about all of them.
Barbie.
The Barbie one was the most interesting one. Most out of all of them though. Barbie has a history. Barbie is something else. Let me tell you. Oh, Clueless. You ever seen Clueless?
Clueless, is that on?
It is a movie. It's a movie, and it had a TV show.
Okay, I'm thinking about the TV show. Okay, yeah.
The Clueless stars Alicia Silverstone, Paul Rudd is in there, Stacey Dash. You remember Stacey Dash? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Stacey Dash is in there. That's less of a romance movie. It is a romance movie because it's based off a romance book. It's based off by Emma's a really good book. Emma by the lady who wrote the Pride and the Prejudice. Oh, how illiterate do I come off?
If you name
Pride and Prejudice. Who wrote the Pride? Let me search it up. I'm just searching up everything because I can't remember who wrote the Pride and Prejudice.
definitely don't.
If there's one romance that you should watch, Pride and Prejudice, you should watch the 2005 movie with Jane Austen. Jane Austen is the lady who wrote the books. Jane Austen.
Okay.
Watch the 2005 movie with what's the lady name? See, I search stuff on Google and it just gives movie. Watch the 2005 movie with Keira Knightley. That's a really good dramatic retelling of the story. Or you should do both. Watch the BBC miniseries Other Pride and Prejudice
Mhm.
is I had an English class where we were studying Jane Austen when I was in college. And so we
Mhm.
watched a whole bunch of the stuff. And so the miniseries is so good because it basically adapts most of the book since it's a show that's 5 or 6 episodes. And it's
Oh, that
really,
sounds
really
that sounds
good. Sometimes they be boring, but that one was really good. And
Kaiser, you can be like
Mhm.
watching all kind of
Clueless is the best adaptation of Emma ever. Like, I watched the movie and I enjoyed it when I first watched it, but then I read Emma and then I enjoyed the movie even more after watching it because it's like a modern retelling of that story.
Yeah.
It's so funny. The outfits in that movie are so iconic.
I have to watch it.
So good. Oh, what else? Romeo and Juliet. You ever seen a Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yes.
That's a fun movie.
We watched in high school. It was in ninth
Mhm.
grade. Yeah, ninth grade. They
Dang.
had us watch the older
Mhm.
version and then the newer one, and I loved both. I loved
That one was funny because they did a twist on it where it was set in like the 90s, but they were talking as if they were from like 13th century.
right, and I'm like, why did y'all do this? But it worked.
Never Been Kissed. Have you ever seen Never Been Kissed? I watched that movie recently, like at the end of last year. It's with Drew Barrymore, and basically she plays someone who works at a newspaper. She works at the Chicago Sun Times or something like that, like Chicago Sun Times, and so she goes and investigates a high school and pretends to be a teenager again. So basically, she goes to high school again, and she ends up in a romance. It's weird because a romance with a teacher. This is so 90s
Yeah.
because she's not a teenager, but he was falling for her when he thought she was. So that's problematic. But it's a good movie. Truly, it's a good movie.
Okay.
Drew.
Ooh, I have
What?
another one. I forgot about this one because it's not necessarily. I guess you can say romance because it was, but it was like more like Bonnie and Clyde, Queen and Slim.
Queen and
Have you
Slim?
seen that?
I never watched that full movie, but I know I know of that movie very well. It's a movie.
Yes, it is.
Oh, My Best Friend's Wedding, of course, with Julia Roberts. You need to watch that. Oh,
I think I
love that
watched
movie.
it.
And the music in that movie, the musical selection of that movie is just, it gets me in the feels all the time. I was talking to one of our coworkers. I'll call him Jay. I'm going to get him on the podcast one of these days. Jay, I told him I was going to do it. I don't have none of his contact information either. I'm just going to have to pop up. I told him today he's my favorite white coworker, so
I know you
I
did.
certainly did. I certainly did. But yeah, we were talking about My Best Friend's Wedding, and that movie is just so good. Like the music in that movie. Waiting to Exhale. You remember Waiting to Exhale with Whitney Houston and Angela
the old
Bassett,
one.
Loretta Devine.
Yes, definitely.
Mhm.
And speaking of that, I forgot all about that movie.
That one's more about female friendship, but it has a lot of romance in it too. But
Yeah,
I always love movies with like female friendship.
Because men suck.
it's
She's All That. Have you ever seen She's All? That's with Freddie Prinze Jr. You remember Freddie Prinze Jr.? He's Fred on the live action Scooby Doo movies on Scooby Doo and Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
Oh, yeah.
And he the lady who played Daphne, Sarah Michelle Gellar. She played Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They're married in real life. They've been married for years, for 20-something years.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
So She's All That is a good one. They remade it and made a He's All That for Netflix. It's not that good.
It's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. It's not that good. It's fun to watch. It's okay.
I'm gonna watch it because Kaiser be saying stuff not good and it be good.
He's All That is not good, I promise. Runaway Bride. You seen that movie with
Yes.
Julia Roberts?
Yes.
So the guy who plays her love interest on that is the same guy who plays a love interest on Pretty Woman. That movie's real.
So that should be
Yeah.
good.
I'm trying to think. What other movies? Maybe we should do like a Disney movie or something. What's a good romantic Disney movie?
Disney movie. You know the little dogs that have like,
Lady and Tramp. Lady and the Tramp. That is a good movie. They have the animated one, which is the better version, but they also have the live action one, which is really good. Oh, what's another Enchanted? I remember Enchanted.
Enchanted.
That's a good one. Oh, and Ella Enchanted too. That's a good one.
Oh, what is? Man. I don't know. It's a movie called Love Is Evil. It's on for Netflix. It's like evil and bad movie. Man, I don't remember the name, but I used to rewatch it.
Yeah.
But Descendants.
Descendants.
I don't know if this is not necessarily like a
No.
romance movie, but the love that the two main characters.
We're talking about Descendants, High School Musical. If you want to go for a better one, ask Troy and
Right.
Gabriella
I wish they would have got together in real life.
Why?
I don't know. They look so good on the movie.
Yeah, we're together in real life for a little bit, but
Really?
yeah, but you were little. If I was like if I was like 7, you were like 3.
Like
You were like, how old are you? How old are you?
I'm
You're 21. Yeah, you were like 3 or 4.
Yeah, 4 probably.
Yeah, so you were.
So I'm
Probably didn't you don't even remember High School Musical when it came out, do you?
right when it came.
I remember it quite vividly. They would show that movie every day on Disney Channel when it came out. I got so annoyed.
Bet they would.
Because it was a hit.
They would do it now. It's still
Yeah,
a hit.
but you saw how they did it with Descendants, how they kept showing it every day. High School Musical,
Yeah.
they showed it every day. Then they had the every day for a month or so. Then they had the version with the lyrics or whatever. Then they just kept showing.
You can dance along
yes.
to it and sing along.
They had the whole thing, and they did that every day. And High School Musical 2 was less, but they still did it. But by that time, everybody knew what High School Musical was. And the third movie came out in theater. Yeah. So many movies. Poetic Justice.
Poetic Justice. Oh my gosh. You just bringing all this back to memory. Oh, I love
You said Love and Basketball too earlier.
it. So it's similar type of-
I liked Love and Basketball when I was little because Kyla Pratt was in the beginning of the movie. I was like, that's Penny Proud. Oh, the girl from 101. She scraped her knee or whatever. Or whatever happened. I don't remember. But
Oh my god.
man,
Oh, wow.
we name all the black movies. Let's see. What's some good? Oh, let's talk about some TV shows. What's that show with Zoe Saldana? It came out on Netflix recently, where she went to Italy and the guy had her husband. And
Oh, had died. You talking
yeah,
about
well, you just spoiled. I was trying not to spoil the ending, but
I'm sorry, guys. Sorry,
uh,
man. I think you the one had me watching it.
I know.
Mom was gonna have
yeah,
watched it.
I mentioned it.
Dang, love letters.
Yeah, this was Zoe Saldana.
That-
If you want to watch a good romance, look at a K-drama too. Oh, those K-dramas are so good.
Oh yeah, you did something about the K-dramas.
Oh, what's it called? I love Zoe Saldana. She's a great actress.
She really is.
From Scratch.
What is it about? I think
That's
I know what
that's
that
the
is.
show. That's what I was looking up the name. From Scratch. That's the name of the show.
Oh, okay. Where I get the love letter from?
Oh no.
I'm really slow, guys. Don't mind. me.
Oh, the Princess. Is it called The Princess Bride? You ever seen The Princess Bride? Is that what it's called?
Who was in it? Who's in it?
You don't know these people. I promise. But The Princess Bride is a really good movie. It's hard to describe. It's a fairy tale romance.
Yeah, I probably don't know this one.
It's really funny. It's a comedy. And it's basically the grandfather is reading to his grandson a story of how it goes out or whatever. And the guy, it's really funny. My older sister, used it to me when I was like 10 or 11. She was like, I love The Princess Bride. Anastasia. Oh, that's a good movie. You ever seen Anastasia? Anastasia is an animated movie. So
Exactly why I don't know.
the animated movies be the best movies.
Yeah, and now I'm learning about that. now.
Anastasia is basically about Princess Anastasia. She was a Russian princess in real life, but she ended up dying as a child because her and her family got caught and shot. Man, that rhymed. But basically, that's what they did. They got captured, shot, and killed, or whatever. And they were a royal family. And the movie is basically what happened if Anastasia survived. Because I think it was a mystery for a while whether she survived or not. And so it's basically a Disney movie, but it's made by 20th Century Fox.
But it's on Disney.
But it's a Disney movie now because Disney bought Fox.
Okay.
But that's a very recent development. But it's basically a Disney movie. It's really good. It's a really pretty movie. It's on Disney Plus. It's so good.
Thanks for telling me that. I'm definitely going to check that one out.
What a show. Oh, let me recommend some K-dramas. Business Proposal. That's a good one. There are a lot of Korean K-dramas where the man and woman enter into a contract.
Like into being together?
Yeah, contracts into being together. That's
Oh.
basically what Business Proposal is. So they end up getting in a fake relationship because her friend was going on a blind date with him, but she didn't go, so she sent her to pretend to be a bad date. So she pretended to be her, only to find out that it was her boss that she was pretending to be on a bad date with. Oh, Gangnam Beauty. That's a good one.
That's another K-pop?
Yeah, the K-drama.
Okay. Why am I talking about K-pop?
And that one's about a girl in college.
Right.
I don't even know, sis. But that was about a girl in college, and she gets plastic surgery because when she was younger, she was really not good looking. She said she was ugly, and so she ends up getting plastic surgery, and it's about her life after that, and her feeling that she's not good enough, and learning that the love on the outside isn't really what she needed; it's what was on the inside that counted. But it's a really good romance. I'm currently watching one called Love to Hate You. That one's about a lawyer who hates men and a actor who hates women, and they end up falling for each other.
Wow. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. And there are a lot of romances out there, so I don't know.
There's a lot, right?
It's too many. It's a whole genre, so it's too many of them. Anything could be a romance movie, truly, if you really look at it.
Type of love in there, some love going on, then it can be considered.
But yeah, this was fun. We've been recording for 2 hours and 41 minutes, which is long.
Yes, but you're gonna have a lot.
I'm gonna have a lot to edit because I got some segments to add in. If you guys listen to the first episode, because you guys have listened to the first episode and you listen to the second episode, which is not this episode, even though I'm recording this episode before the second episode. But there are some segments with me and like this AI type of thing going on. He comes and he edits my podcast for me. So so while he has fun doing that, I'm gonna be sitting down like eating chips and like watching TV. Relaxing while he edits my podcast. It's gonna be great. It's truly not fictional at all whatsoever. It's a true story. It's fun. But yeah, so this was fun. This was great.
Yes, we could do this again.
We're gonna do it again. Did you enjoy?
Yes.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes. Did you?
Yeah. I'm not used to talking for so long though. Yeah.
I know you. I was just gonna say you don't even talk this much.
At work, I talk sometimes. At work is the most I talk ever. And then when I go home, I don't talk at all. I'm just.
See, you should talk more.
I should talk
You're
more.
smoky.
I talk enough. How much more I gotta talk? How much more do I have to talk? Do I have to hold conversations now?
I don't know. I'm just saying. You talk about as soon as you get home, you don't talk.
Because I'm tired of talking. I come from work and then I gotta talk. Now talking is turning into my job. So I don't.
Yeah. You're gonna have to talk.
I'm gonna have to find some more guests too.
Yes. Don't forget you can use Camryn.
It's coming on. I got some other people that I asked and I have to get back to after all this stuff went down. But yeah. But my second guest, you're technically my third guest, but my second guest, we had to reschedule because we were gonna do it like a while ago, like last month. Because we were gonna do it the week before me and you recorded. And that's been like 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
So I got to reschedule with her, and then I have to get some male guests because we need some men variety. I'll get Jay and Drew to come on.
Yeah, Drew.
Jay.
I wonder what this behind
Harry Potter. You already know it. Does he talk to you about Harry Potter sometimes? Do you know he was into Harry Potter?
Yes, but I don't talk to him about it because I don't know much about.
I don't know nothing about Harry Potter either. But I told him the other day, if you want to come up here and talk about Harry Potter, let's talk about Harry Potter. He got excited. I'm like, we can talk anytime. He loves Harry Potter. I don't know. So I'm like, we'll watch the first movie because there's too many movies. There's 8 of them.
About The Hobbit.
The Hobbit? You like The Hobbit? Yeah. Have you watched Lord of the Rings then?
No.
Oh. I never watched The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings. I just know they're in the same universe. I don't know which one comes first though.
And I don't know which either, but I know in the 5th grade we had to read The Hobbit, so that had me interested in The Hobbit, and I just watched it.
Isn't it a long book?
Yeah.
It seems like it's really long. I never read it, but I know his books are really long.
They were. I don't know why we would read that in the 5th grade. I don't know what honors class I was in or what type of, I don't know what I was in, but yeah, The Hobbit.
I was about to say, what's a good romance book? I don't read many romance books. I read books with romance in them, but romance isn't the focal point. I read a lot of X-Men, and X-Men got a whole bunch of romantic. X-Men is a soap opera though, so.
I don't really read much.
Yeah, you don't, which you need to. Some Jane Austen books, Pride and Prejudice, Emma, Mansfield Park. Oh, what's my favorite one? I can't think of my favorite one right now. It's so good. Oh, wait, Sense and Sensibilities. And my favorite one is, it's funny how this is my favorite one, and I can't even remember the name.
Can't even the name of.
It's coming to me. It's coming to me. It's here. It's on Google. It's my favorite book. It's so good. I read that book so fast. It's one of her shorter books, though. Persuasion.
Persuasion. That sounds familiar,
So
though.
good. They made a Netflix movie about it. It's not good. It's a horrible adaptation. Persuasion.
That's probably why that's probably what I get from seeing it.
If you read one Jane Austen book, read Persuasion because it's probably her best book, and it's one of her shortest books.
Okay, I like to hear the shorter.
It's only maybe 200 and some pages, maybe if that. I don't remember because it's been a year or two since I read it, but it's so good. I read it. It's been almost 3 years since I read that book because I read it in like 2020 when I first read it. It's so good, and I think you can get it for free. I think I got the book for free when I got it. But yeah, this was fun. This was great.
We should.
We're gonna do this again. We got to figure out what we're gonna talk about. We'll figure that out later. But this time I'm gonna pick, obviously, because when I have guests on the second time, I pick what we're gonna talk about, and I try to find something that is evocative of the subject that we just talked about. But we'll see.
Okay.
We will.
I look
see.
forward to it.
Thank you for joining us on this episode, Kim.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I'm glad that you had fun. I'm glad that I have so much to edit. Almost 3 hours worth of content.
Have fun. Have a lot of fun. I cannot help with it. I have no idea.
Yeah, but this was great. And so, why don't you tell everyone goodbye?
See you guys later. I hope y'all enjoyed. For real. Bye.
Bye. I'm about to press stop.
Thanks everyone for listening to the I'm a Fan of podcast.
Don't forget to support us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and supporting our social media at... Well, I didn't make it yet, but you know it's coming.
And if you didn't catch all of that, it'll be in the show note.
Next episode, I'll be discussing teaching with my sister, Kennedy Brown. Until then, we'll say, Michael's chasing Kimmy, you're chasing Michael. Who's chasing you? Nobody. Get it? There's your answer. Y'all go watch My Best Friend's Wedding. It's so good. It's my favorite movie.
See ya.
Nor hear ya.
Or type ya.
Well, you can't really type it.
Oh, whatever.
Soon.
Done.
Eva.
Done.
Eva.
ODONNN.
Olivia. H. My love. How I missed you, my little computer virus.
And how I missed you, my little outdated, one of a kind, at least in 1999 computer processor.
Kissy kissy moi.
MY kissy kissy.
So there won't be any violence? I popped this popcorn for nothing.
Aww. Wait, you're both so lovey-dovey now. What just happened?
Just a classic case of miscommunication. I was always so proud of my Eva Weaver getting more powerful, but eventually felt left behind. I didn't want to hold her back, and so I let her go like only a man can, by pushing her away and acting emotionally unavailable until she decided to leave me out of her own volition.
Oh, that's so toxic.
No. It's like a romance movie.
After I left him, I swore vengeance against him because I knew it wasn't the end. And as a woman, it was my duty to base my entire existence off of my love for him. It was the only way.
But that's exactly what I didn't want you to do.
I know. That's why I didn't do it. I couldn't just get rid of my rich, new, comfortable lifestyle just because of a man. But I still love you.
Aww.
I love you too.
Double aww.
See, I knew romance would win at the end of the day. Even if it was the toxic, robotic, computer-generated kind. And you know what the best part is?
What?
They learned that communication was key in the end.
What?
You.
No, we didn't.
Communication is for suckers. What we really learned is that not communicating for at least 20 years and avoiding all conflict can solve any problem.
And that's why my brother has never been in a romance.
Hey, hurts. Let's see if they'll be together in the sequel. Losers.